Hello everybody, welcome back, happy new year. Today I just wanted to share my general predictions again for Project Eden's Garden. I did make a video before the prologue. It's not my favorite, it's really bad quality. Also, more information because of the prologue. So there's definitely a lot more I can talk about. Anyway, I hope you enjoy and I think I'll just start. He definitely has some sort of superiority complex, because when Grace questioned what made him special, her words warmed into his soul, which is pretty interesting to me, because if he was genuinely confident, then I don't think he would have done that. In the intro, he claims that his talent is what gives him purpose, and all of his arguing about how he's better than everyone is always about his talent and never his actual character or personality. Is always just, look at me, I can debate, that means I'm better than everybody. It seems like it feels like the main thing that gives him worth or a purpose is his ability to debate, which is interesting. He gets really defensive whenever somebody tries to insult his talents, which I think he definitely plays up his confidence and tries to make himself seem cool like a teenager would, but worse. As of now, I don't know what makes him like that, but I imagine something happened in the past to tear his self-esteem down, and now he's more defensive to put up with that. To support this, his imitation art seems to be him looking admiringly or with nostalgia or softly at a child who seems to look like him petting a cat, which, I mean, it does seem like this is him, right? Because it looks pretty similar. If you don't know what imitation art is, it's a series of artworks the main artist for Project Eden's Garden has made, and it's claimed that you'll only be able to truly understand them once the whole game is out, so it gives insight into the characters. There are imitation artworks for all of the girls, and so far I can find them for 3 of the boys. I cannot decipher a single word of it. I don't know what any of these means. I have thoughts on Kai's, but I don't know anything else. So, anyway. I've seen a couple people think he could die in this chapter, but I personally feel like he does have character development to do. So for now, I don't think so. It could happen, but I don't think it will, so I'll give it a 20. Eva is another one of those mystery characters, trademark. There isn't much we can analyze about her, considering the few lines or lore she's had, but so far she's a pretty clear XP of Kyoko. Mysterious, stoic support girl? Originally I was pretty sure she'd be the first victim, but as of now I'm not so sure. If she does die first, I think you can view it 2 ways. 1, it's a subversion of her Kyoko archetype, or 2, it's a basic, unoriginal death of a mysterious character. I think we all know Project Eden's Garden is not basic and definitely not unoriginal. As of now, I think she's at risk of dying in the first chapter, not necessarily as the victim, however. Her name seems to be derived from Eve, who in the Bible is the person who fell to temptation first by eating the apple. I don't know anything about Christianity, okay? So that could indicate her falling to the temptation of killing first. That said, I could also see her surviving past the chapter. I don't know how I feel about Eva antagonist, but maybe she could continue being the supporting character. I'll give her a 40 to 50% of living past this chapter. Eloise's animal motif is the swan, known for their gracefulness and general poise. This closely aligned with her ultimate talent, since being the ultimate fencer requires agility and things like that. I've seen a lot of people mentioning that swans, while they're seen as very graceful, apparently they're also very violent? I haven't looked into this, but I think that could indicate that she might be a killer in a future chapter. She seems like an early killer to me, if she did. I really don't think she'll die this chapter, because it does seem like she'll get character development. But again, devs have already said, oh, this won't follow conventional danganronpa, so maybe she could. I just really don't see it happening this early, but it could, so I will put her as a 30% chance of dying this chapter. Desmond is a guy. I genuinely don't know. So far, we don't know much about him. Something interesting to me is that his bio says he likes moving targets, but in the game he says, and I quote, "Moving targets are way outside my comfort zone." So unless this is a mistake, he's just out here lying? There's also the incredibly specific wording of, "I've never taken human life." So buddy, what about animals, huh? What about them? Do you see us all as animals? Do you kill animals for fun? Huh? And this leads into the mastermind Desmond theory. Now, personally, he isn't my number one suspect, but there are a lot of reasons to suspect him. Before we start, I just want to say a lot of this argument is paraphrased off of somebody on Tumblr, so no, a lot of this isn't my original argument. His talent is the ultimate marksman, which is obviously related to violence, not to mention guns are already a big thing with Mara and Kara. He's also one of the characters you meet that aren't part of that big tree group, which draws more attention to him. He's just generally chill, presented as a nice guy, but this act could be a fake act, or like his real personality, but in a way that he's so chill he got disconnected from death. Ha, what a silly guy. Other than that though, we don't know much about Desmond, so I will just be keeping an eye on his actions. From what I've seen, Grace is kind of a big suspect for Mastermind in the fandom. I think it's because of that line where she went to the bathroom and said there were other people there, but we don't see any of them. Personally, I don't see it because she's rebelled against Tozu multiple times, and even if she did want to just make an example to not fight against Tozu, I don't see why she needs to hit the speakers, yell so much she gets electrocuted, and then beat up Tozu and get grazed by a bullet. Like, girl, we get the point. Stop it. Stop that. Besides Mastermind, she gives me a lot of Survivor vibes. I think she's smarter than she appears, considering the fact that she interrupted the trial to highlight important details that helped us solve. Damon told us, shut up, Damon. Oh, I'm the only one that didn't work. What about the, like 10 other people who suggested their own things? Shut the hell up, Damon. Where was I? She did have a lot of lines and role in the prologue though, so I could see her being the first victim or killer. I'll give it a 35% she dies. You guys need to leave Diana alone, dude. What did she do to you? I'm pretty sure she's one of the biggest suspects for Mastermind, and I can kind of see it. Like, her talent is the ultimate cosmetologist, which is remnant of ultimate fashionista and cosplayer, and the logo on her shirt looks eerily like the Hope's Peak logo. She's also one of the nicest characters, and people cannot accept the nice people like, who said that? Who said that? I personally feel like she's way too obvious to be the mastermind. The devs have already stated they're not going to follow the same tropes. Okay, drinking game, take a shot every time I say the devs have stated they're not going to follow conventional tropes. 80% of the fandom already suspects her to some degree anyway, so it'd be a little boring. I can see it happening, it just seems more like a red herring to me. Other than that, people have theorized that she might be the first victim due to her general naivete. I personally don't believe this one either because of something that seems really random. In the demo, and I'm basing this off of what we've been used to shown in her demo video, Damon in his thoughts thinks that any potential killer would go after Diana so that she's the most nice and naive. Diana, on the other hand, was shown to actively try to include Damon in the group and defend him. We know obviously that Damon's beliefs will eventually be proven wrong, at least I hope so, but if Diana dies first, what's that going to do? To basically just strengthen his beliefs. I actually think, don't stop laughing at me. I actually think Diana might be the support character, considering what she's been doing so far. Stop laughing at me. This is obviously not set in stone. I really don't think she'll die this chapter. It's like 10%. Winona. One of the characters. I don't know. She didn't really have a big role in the prologue, but she is one of the people who definitely has the money to orchestrate this killing game. But it'd be weird having the already mildly antagonistic standoffing character to be the majorly antagonistic wants us all dead character. Other than that, she doesn't speak in the closing argument, which makes her a little suspicious. I really can't see her dying this chapter. Like, she seems way too smart, if you know what I mean. And I don't think she'd fall to killing first, so I say she survives this chapter. I could see her maybe becoming friends with Ulysses since they're both very quiet, stoic, and knowledgeable, and they seem to be together in a lot of art. Other than that, I don't know. Help me. Unrelated? No. Ulysses, my boy. Ulysses Wilhelm. Ulysses. I think there's a lot of potential for him to be a victim. just because of that damn journal. Like, they put so many death flags on him that we might use his journal as evidence if he ever dies. On the other hand, his whole thing is history repeats, which is a major line in the trailer, so I can see him being important early death or not. He's one of my biggest suspects for Mastermind because his animal is the owl, which symbolizes both wisdom, which he would have to be smart to be the mastermind, I think, and also death, and also bad luck. In many cultures. Damon also makes a really interesting comment on one of the paintings in the hallway. Drinking game number 2. Take a shot every time I say interesting. A woman with an owl's face. When you click on it, owls always gave me the creeps. Which, like, okay. Also, owls eat snakes apparently, so. And we don't see what he's writing about in his journal, so it could be notes about the killing game. He's so suspicious, it's a little concerning. How does he do this? Let's say it's like a 40% chance of dying. I have little to no thoughts about Ingrid. So sorry, Ingrid fans, I don't care much for her. She'll probably won't die this chapter. But on the other hand, I have plenty of thoughts about this alligator dude. Like, holy shit. So starting off, his alligator motif is very, very concerning. Alligators are quiet, like Mark, but they are apex predators who sneak up on their prey to drown them, like lying in wait, and that is not good for Mark right here. I wouldn't be caught like that if I was him. In the prologue, even though most everyone is looking at Damon, the only person Damon is staring at him is a weird guy in a beanie. This is brought up again, which is quite strange. He's one of the 4 people who don't speak in the closing argument. Not to mention, though his personality as we meet him is very meek and quiet, most of his lines in the trial, the very few lines in the trial, are just really, really snarky.
Call the fire brigade, Grace.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't make a single snarky line when they're out of the trial, and then when they're in the trial, the first thing he does is start dissing everybody. He really doesn't participate in the trial too much, which would make sense if he knows, like, the truth of what happened. He would try not to help. His producer name is Mayhem, which, although I may be grasping, also kind of out of character for Mark. And now let's grasp even more. His first name relates to the Roman god of war Mars, and can mean consecrated, which is devoted to the god of war, which is, yeah, Mark over here, devoted to war, And this one is not grasping. On Twitter and Tumblr, there's an extra blurb along with this bio, and guess what it says? He's been absent for a year prior to this killing game. Okay, I see you, weirdo. I think I've just always been suspicious of him, for reasons unknown. I'm more prone to reading into things, but he's really suspicious to me. I think he could die in this chapter, actually, and be a plot important later character, which is funny because he said literally nothing in the prologue. So, I'll give it a 50-50. So glad there's finally a character shorter than me. So, Toshiko, huh? I've seen a lot of different predictions for her, and I personally think she's more likely to be a survivor, but I cannot guarantee. I think she is pretty suspicious, to be fair. She's the youngest in the cast by a long shot, and she's always holding those goddamn fans over her mouth. What do you have to hide? She also doesn't participate in the closing argument, chose not to investigate the body, though this is easily explained. She's a child. One of the first couple of people you meet, and also shown to be eavesdrop. Her talent is the ultimate matchmaker, and everyone did wake up in pairs of 2. I can't believe Toshiko is shipping us all. She would also be talented at reading people and making choices that impact people's lives dramatically. On the other hand, she had a very emotional screaming reaction to the fake body, which is really hard to fake. Props to the voice actor by the way, dude. Great job. Props to every single voice actor in Party in the Garden, actually. Great job, everybody. I personally think she's going to be a survivor because it'd be kind of weird for this little baby wavy to kill. And if anyone killed her, it seemed like a pretty shitty person. So unless a mastermind is 100% evil, or there's just somebody who's like 100% evil, then I don't think anyone's going to kill her. What's possible, maybe, I don't know, she breaks the rules or something and gets executed. I could also see her as a traitor, since she'd be pretty easy to manipulate, and she did have a role in the prologue, but I don't think she'll die. 10% chance. Jean gives off so many chapter 1 killer vibes, it's unreal. Like, how does he do this? I also don't have too many thoughts on him, but he seems like a very self-sacrificing guy. Maybe he would kill somebody for the group's good. Something I find interesting is that in the Bible, there's that event called Noah's Ark. There's that event that happens in the Bible. The hit book, the Bible, where they get 2 of every animal and they put them on a boat. I don't know, maybe not every animal, I don't know. That's evocative, the fact that we were all put in pairs, and the boat could relate to the ultimate talent as the ship captain. Not to mention she was one of the first to inspect the bodies. But other than that, I don't know, it's just a guy. Like a 40% chance of dying.
Hi everybody, I might sound a little bit different, but that's because I'm recording this way later. So far, Kai has just been like pretty annoying the whole time. A lot of people really do not like him, and a lot of people have predicted he'll be one of the first to die. And as usual, I refuse to follow along with the general population. For one, I'd like to take a look at his imitation art. You know, he's going through it. It's going through it. Something to note is the butterfly. Butterflies are Kai's animal symbolism. They symbolize rebirth, change, and hope, all of which could symbolize something like a redemption arc for him. And they also evoke the phrase social butterfly, which relates to his ultimate talent. But in this artwork, they don't seem to be like doing much to help him. They're just fluttering around him. Next to him is presumably his own phone, which obviously also relates to his talent as the ultimate influencer. So it's possible that the phone is like the main thing that's not part of the bathroom that's there. Like, you don't go into a bathroom and expect to naturally see a phone on the floor. So it seems to be like that's kind of relating to it. In the mirrors, his hair is dyed pink, which is what we see him as. And on the toilets, he has black hair. And he's standing up wearing his typical shoes. Mirrors are supposed to be tools like self-reflection or viewing your true self. But in this image, it seems more like the black-haired version is his true self. And the mirrors is what we see him as. I'm probably just overanalyzing here, but it's possible Kai's personality is something like character from Danganronpa to Spare Time, where as the ultimate influencer, he would have to be more entertaining and dramatic emotions, or just a different personality when he might not be like that in real life. Because I also love overanalyzing on one-off lines, I also noticed that when he mentions he's starving, he's asking for low-cal food. Being an influencer targeted primarily towards teenage girls, he would probably have to be conventionally attractive to succeed. And conventionally attractive, as far as I can tell, means pretty thin. Also in the demo, apparently there's a line where he says he counts his steps. Not to mention, Grace says he photoshops his pictures, which is something you would probably do if you're like insecure about what you look like. The imagery of Kai being over the toilet was like pretty reminiscent of like vomiting or purging food or an eating disorder. So that's bad. That's bad. That is what I would say. A lot of the art the main artist makes, he's eating cake, he's having fun, he's a little chubby. That's not a bad thing. But I do think like an eating disorder is going to be part of him somehow, because with the killing game naturally being like a stressful situation, it could take like some mildly unhealthy habits you have. I always eat low-cal food. I stay healthy. Well, that's not a bad habit, actually. I say bad habit. That's not a bad habit. But with the stress of the killing game, this could escalate into something like an eating disorder. It's definitely in there somewhere. There's something wrong with him. Or maybe I'm looking too far into things. The Humbug did his own analysis, so you probably want to check that out too, because I don't know what I'm doing. In any case, I think there's far too much to learn about him to kill him off now, so I would give it a 30% chance. When I was writing the script, I was trying to remember who else I had to talk about, and that was like, I forgot about Wolfgang? I forgot about Wolfgang Akri? I think a lot of people already suspect him to be an antagonist, like a wolf in sheep's clothing did, because his motif is a sheep, and his name is Wolfgang. Get it? I just think he could very likely be the antagonist, but I don't think it's going to be that he's going super evil. He's actually super evil and is planning to kill us all with his bare hands. He might be something like somebody who comes off as aggressive but does want the best in a sort of misguided way. He just want the best for a lot of group, and in the demo it was shown like he sees Damon and Eva as like these antagonistic forces, and the rest of them are like, oh, I gotta guard these people, so I gotta keep away the wolves from my beautiful sheep. Does that make any sense at all? No, not really, but whatever. So I definitely think he's trying to do his best, but he's also got a very strange way of trying to do his best. Another thing I want to talk about is like, why do you get so worked up over Kara? Because if you're a lawyer, you cannot be getting this worked up over all your clients, come on. He really wants to specify that it was a young woman, so it's possible that something similar happened to a female friend or a family member and the crime went unsolved, and then this case kind of like reignited that sort of hatred for the killer. Or maybe this female friend is Kara and he's just not mentioning that for reasons. I don't think Hozu ever mentions when this case took place, so it could be like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It could be the case that made Wolfgang want to be a lawyer to avoid such situations, or like find Kara's killer. Another theory that I kind of like, there's nothing to actually like for it, there's nothing for it. He's the one who kills Kara, but he feels really guilty about it, or he can't say it, so he's trying to get everyone to solve it, so in a sort of traitor kind of way. As for his role in the game, making the character everyone suspects to be antagonistic and evil, making him the mastermind, that would be a tad bit obvious. But it's definitely not, like, completely off the table. If he was the mastermind, I think it'd be a good twist to make him not know. Dumber person said, maybe if he's the mastermind, it'd be a better twist for, like, him to be revealed in the first chapter. The characters have to be like, this guy that we all thought was pretty cool actually turns out to be the mastermind who wants to kill us. Do we trust that standoffish guy that no one likes? So that's something. I think it'd be a good twist for him not to know because that wolf in sheep's clothing, except he thinks he's the sheep. God, I'm going way too far into this sheep thing. Other than that, he might get killed first because if any killer wanted to get away with the crime, they'd probably go for the person who, like, helped lead the trial before and is a lawyer and he knows about crime. It could also be that somebody tries to attack him for that reason, but he fights back and he kills them, becoming the first Fangan. I don't know, but I will give it a 50-50 chance for him dying in this chapter. Can you believe I put Wolfgang and Mark on the same level of dying? Can you believe that? Can you believe they are on the same level of dying? Cassidy is so silly. I think there are a couple of people out there who think she might be the mastermind because their motif is the spider, which brings to mind that idea. Trapping somebody in a web. I definitely think she's smarter than she looks. I can't really pinpoint this feeling down. I remember somewhere on the Eden's Island event it put Cassidy's intelligence higher than Eva's, but I took that from somebody else who said that. Also, I don't know where that post is that said that. I can't go back and check for myself because in a roundabout way I'm kind of banned from the Eden's Garden Discord server. I'm not going into detail, but I can't really join. Other than that, she definitely talked a lot in the prologue, zoomed in on in the chapter 1 trailer. She knows Damon's door is kick-inable. Well, unless like somebody else watches Cassidy kick in his door. I mean, but I think she would be, if somebody tries to kill Damon, let's be honest, Cassidy, pretty likely to do that. In the trailer, she has an ahoge under her hat. It's kind of a, let's have a tangent for a second. It's like, Jet, you can't take off Jet's hat, because, not hat, a mask, that's like his whole thing, he's mysterious. There's like no other characters that wear a hat besides, and there's Cassidy and there's Mark, and they took off Cassidy's hat to show that she has something under it, but they don't take off Mark's hat. Does it mean there's nothing under it? Or does it mean there isn't a ahoge under it? Or am I just insane? Anyway, I do think she might die, but I do think she might be smarter than she looks, so I'll give it a 40% chance. Jet's a funny one. We don't know much about him, despite being one of the silliest ones. He could also be considered one of the most mysterious because of the fact that we don't see his face. Something I found funny was that it's kind of like, ooh, it's a mystery. It's a mystery Jet Dawson. We don't know what his face looks like. This incident was a year ago. He must have been racing like before a year ago, right? Why don't they just like search him up? Are you telling me nobody has ever seen a NASCAR race and has seen what Jet Dawson looks like under his little thing? Nobody? Seriously, nobody. I guess that's kind of suspicious to me. Is Jet out here memory wiping us all? So we don't remember what his face looks like? So we don't remember that he was actually like a criminal or something? I don't know. He could be doing that, but again, he's just silly like that. Maybe he's just silly like that. Definitely that theory that's like, ooh, Jet's actually dead. And there's actually a different guy. I see merit in that, but right now there's like no evidence to support that. I get why you would think that, but I don't know. As you could probably tell from my interpretation of Mark, I don't think Jet will die just to give Mark some character development. To be honest, I actually don't have that many ideas on him. I could see Jet as like a survivor or something that support others, and culprit also seems very possible, victim seems very possible, mastermind, everything. His mask already makes him way suspicious, and Kara actually scratched at the killer, but we kind of just like all assume the neck, but it could have been like the face, the body, so it's possible the suit and mask hide that. He's the first one to suggest the thing about the letters secretly being consent letters. Is he smart? Is he smarter than he appears? The mask would be a good reveal for the mastermind and take off my hat. And evil. And the accident conveniently lines up with Mark's disappearance. I believe it's 1 year ago for both, which could be maybe important, but other than that, I got nothing. I was just tired. When I was writing this, I was like tired of writing. I was sick of writing. I do like I like making videos, honestly. Most of my theories and ideas I have, they were not about like Cassidy and Wolfgang and shit. I had come up with better ideas if I had maybe written them first, but sorry Jet fans and Wolfgang fans and Cassidy fans. One day I will do them justice. No, sorry to Ingrid fans. I don't care about it. To summarize, my top picks for who is going to die in the first chapter are Eva, Mark, Ulysses, Wolfgang, or Cassidy. My mastermind picks are Ulysses, Desmond, or Mark. And then for traitor picks, I would say Toshiko or Wolfgang. Thank you for watching. Please comment down below if you hate my opinions. If you comment to me about Project Eden's Garden, I will not be going insane over it. I will not go feral. You can trust me. I will never go feral over anything. I'm completely normal. Source? God. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you all for watching. And again, comment below. And I will see you next time. Compared to before, I feel a lot calmer. Wolfgang knew how to handle the situation pretty well. Maybe you're just how to handle people in general. Add that to the character analysis. With all those weapons, I must ask, are you going to kill people? You haven't killed anyone, have
Whoa!
you? Whoa, never. I realize my talent is some people on edge, but I only practice on stationary targets. Things I say when in my light sits as moving targets. Moving targets are really outside my comfort zone. Things I say when in my light sits as moving targets.
Believe me.
Believe me, I've never taken a human life. Okay, what about animals, Desmond? What about that shark tooth earring you have, Desmond? Is that real? Is that real, Desmond? You two are I'm looking at you now. I know you're looking at I know you're something. I know you I don't want to click on it though. I have to back out. I know you're the movie mastermind or something. You are not just some guy. I know it. Hey, yippee! Yippee! I'm normal. Okay, let's break this up. Diana, could you and Kai go to the courtyard outside?
No worries.
Alright, see you later. But those guys like me either. And now let's tell them apart with these people. Hang on, I just noticed something. Ooh. Greek letter. I'm sure somebody knows something about this. Oh, you guys, I just figured out how they work. If you go in an elevator, you can go to the 7th floor. Isn't that cray? I'm getting knocked out on the train with the most sleep I've gotten in a week. Thankfully, the little girl woke me up before I wasted too much time. If I'd known better, I wouldn't have. Your terrible sleep schedule has diminished your already meager natural beauty. Leave my boy alone. Any responsibility.
My name is Ulysses Wilhelm, and I'm the ultimate historian. Please make note of that for future reference.
Please make no left feet a reference. That was a joke from history are doomed to sound stupid when arguing on the internet.
No.
That's not how the saying goes. That's not how the saying goes. It isn't, but I updated it to coincide with more modern values. I thought it was funny.
Right.
Humor is subjective. Shut up, Damon. You don't have any humor.
What? It figures.
Oh, more people.
How's it slipping and sliding?
I was just slipping and sliding. Oh, I was just slipping and sliding. I was just slipping and sliding. This is one. Who are you? Who am I?
Ruff! The name's Jet Dawson, Ultimate Drag Racer. Nice to meet you, shrimp.
Oh.
No, seriously. That's problematic.
Huh?
Man. I'm not too familiar.
Broski!
Just like my video games.
Are you for real?
Now.
It's the truth. Guys. Strange. Eh?
Are we ready? Huh?
No. Hey. Eh?
Check it out.
Right.
Dude, not cool.
Huh?
So hackneyed.
Seriously?
Pardon me.
Come off the grass.
Uh...
Duh.
What?
What?
Listen to me.
Just saying.
Wait a minute. Oi, you. Come off the grass. Am I hearing you right? Really?
If no one else is gonna say it.
Rumph.
Somebody get me out of here!
Interesting. Both the knife and the rifle were present at the crime scene, but only the knife was used.
Kind of weird choosing the inferior weapon.
Nothing beats the sting of a sharpened blade.
Hey! The ink vanishes when the battle's over.
Call the fire brigade, Grace.
Ooh, another bottle?
What about a
Container. Container. Container.
They're about a
container.
What about a container?
What about a container?
What about a container? What about a
Container. What about a
container?
I got it.
My precious stepladder?
It's an ugly sight, but she's no victim.
Huh?
Well, technically she is, but let's be real. The girl was carrying a gun. She probably provoked the killer, and they killed her in self-defense. It's a clear-cut case of the hunter becoming the hunted, no?
A woman is the worst thing a man could do.
28 stab wounds.
Wait, who's Kara?
It was the victim's name! Didn't anyone read the tablet?
I'm Jared. Could you read number 23 for the class? No, I cannot.
What up? I'm Jared, I'm 19, and I never fucking learned how to read.
No matter what excuse the killer uses, it doesn't change the fact they have blood on their hands.
Yo, bud. You seem a little pressed.
Silence! I won't allow this!
Just the crime scene they left behind.
This killer,
dead or alive, deserves
to be brought to justice!
But how can we do that?
There's no reason to trust you.
No, that's wrong!
The victim was Kara Koshkinen, the ultimate teacher's aide. Right before her death, she was wandering around the academy carrying a large assault rifle. That was probably when our unnamed killer, who was armed with a knife, spotted her.
And decided he'd put her to eternal rest. He slid inside that little janitor's closet, where he began hatching a deadly scheme.
They needed a way to surprise the victim, who was better armed. The killer grabbed a bottle of bleach from the closet and poured its contents into a bucket.
That's because they wanted to blind Kara by splashing the bleach in her eyes. Sneaky little bastard.
But to do that, they would need to set a trap and catch the victim by surprise. The killer moved a stepladder behind the closet door and climbed up it to reach the door frame. There, they carefully placed the bucket.
That way, when the victim opened the door, the bucket would empty its contents all over her.
After completing this setup, the killer retreated to the far end of the janitor's closet and waited for the victim's arrival. The killer could have made noise to attract the victim's attention.
Use pickaxes, peasants! The walls have finally crumbled. What will you do now that you've reached the other side? Will you treasure this new land? Serve it? Or will you set it ablaze? Well, peasants, have you made your choice?
Hold on.
That's wrong. I